We have worked with the Committee on Admissions. The Committee on Admissions has agreed to a pilot project of a holistic review and to enhance school context, which will get us there. The Committee on Admissions is a faculty senate, academic senate body that has the authority to set the policy. The Chancellor's been working very hard to help them consider alternate ways of admitting students, and this is a project that is one of the highest priorities of my office.
Okay, we demand the campus climate becomes Chancellor's #1 priority, especially in this time of crisis. Simply adding together the previous commitments I've made makes this a high priority item, so you can check that one. We demand that Chancellor Fox and the university have mutual respect of the principles of community and create a precedent of prioritizing students of color and leading by example. When demand that there are repercussions from the principles of community are blatantly being violated. Dan, would you like to comment on principles of community? The principles of community are the basis on which we live and interact with the community. They also have a legal requirement.
From a legal perspective, the principles of communities are the morals that the university upholds and the principles that we espouse and the expectations that we have for the community for decent, respectful, civil conduct among ourselves. They are not but they are distinct from the student conduct code, and because of that distinction, violation of the principles of community, while they should be roundly condemned and are, and I think by this gathering demonstrates that condemnation, they are not the subject of the conduct code itself.
But the conduct code will be used if there are allegations of violations. We demand the Chancellor's offices charges the Campus Climate Commission that will work primarily on improving the campus climate and providing a safe and more welcoming space and experience for the students, underrepresented communities, and the entire student body. Done with the first one. We demand a permanent quarterly and annual campus climate report from the Campus Climate Commission. Quarterly sounds awfully frequent to me. Is annual reasonable?
Frequent enough.
I don't know what the standard is, but I think it's either annually or biannually for most universities. So I can commit to annual but not to quarterly.
Why not quarterly?
1.3% isn't necessary to have this quarterly. That's the percentage of African American students. Is that not enough to have this quarterly?
It's enough to justify a campus climate survey, but there won't be enough change from one quarter to the next. If this is something that you find, if this is very important to you, we can do it quarterly. I just don't think there'll be much change.
It is. Yeah, it's really important.
Our objective is to improve the campus climate, not simply to study it. But perhaps we should do a pilot where we look at it quarterly and then decide whether quarterly is appropriate or not. I think I can commit to that. Dr. Rue is the one who will do that. Okay, we demand the university create a space in the central part of campus safe for African American students. See, didn't we do that? We talked about the cross-cultural center. We demand the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Chief Diversity Office meet with the Chair and Vice Chair of the Black Student Union at least once every academic quarter. How often do you meet with them? Done, I'm told. We demand the university provide financial education and counseling, teaching students from low-income, underprivileged communities how to manage their money better, being independent college students. Done, I'm told. We demand the university send out a campus-wide email presenting the Black Student Union's Do You See Us campaign report on yield by African American students immediately. What is the status of that?
You want us to promulgate the whole report?
We can do that if you want. Done. I can tell you that that report was circulated through the administration, but we didn't circulate it to the whole campus. We will do so. We demand the university live up to its principles of community, show leadership and integrity by giving up the remains of the Kumeyaay tribe and respect the native land in which they live. I can tell you that we would love to do exactly that, but we are constrained by federal law, which prohibits our being able to do so without concessions by the Kumeyaay tribe. If the Kumeyaay tribe asks for it, we will be more than happy to work with them. Mr. Matthews, would you like to comment? Gary Matthews is the person responsible for those negotiations.
I think Aries wants to speak on it.
So, my name is Aries. I'm one of the few Native students here on campus. Our number is actually 007. In order to have all people understand how much land we own, my father planted poles surrounded and said, inside is the home of my people. The white man may take the land outside. Inside this boundary, all our people were born. It circles around the graves of our fathers. I will never give up these graves to any man. My son, never forget my dying words. This country holds your father's body. Never sell the bones of your father and your mother. I pressed my father's hand and told him I would protect his grave with my life. My father smiled and passed away to the spirit land. I buried him in that beautiful valley of winding waters. I love that land more than the rest of the world. A man who would not love his father's grave is worth no wild animal.
Thank you. Specific to the repatriation of the Native American Indian remains, I've been working with the University House project for well over 4 years now, and we've reached a point where we've had dialogue, we've had consultation with the Kumeyaay, and we've reached one point where we are now guided by federal law in terms of returning those remains. There are processes that we can follow with the federal government to make that happen. There is one distinction, however, that the Kumeyaay have stipulated that we cannot do ourselves. The federal government is about to change some legislation, and that legislation is directed towards what is called cultural affiliation. And the cultural affiliation is near and dear and extremely important to the Kumeyaay. I understand that. We are not able to return the remains until the federal relation is either adjusted or we have agreement with the Kumeyaay that they be returned without a designation of cultural affiliation. So we have worked through a number of years of pain. Clearly, the process has been painful for everyone, and we are personally supportive of providing the Native American Kumeyaay Repatriation Committee access to the remains so that they can bury them the way they ceremonially do and is so important.
You know what? It's easy what you do. Put the Native Americans on that committee who determine whether or not they're culturally affiliated, call them culturally affiliated, and return them to the Kumeyaay. It's easy. Just do that. Get some Native representation on that committee.
These remains have been under the university, as we found them since 1976. This is ridiculous. I'm sorry, like, do you understand how big of a deterrent this is for my people? Hold on, I'm sorry, let me finish speaking. Cultural affiliation, say they're Kumeyaay remains. Don't say they're Asian. This is what the burial ground for our people since time immemorable. The kind of scientific research you did, you looked at their eye sockets and said,